family friend and ex-private secretary pocket COVID-19 cash via 82 million rand contract. He says he met with his Director General early this year in January. The Auditor General's findings on the deviations in relation to digital vibes were raised and deemed irregular, he said. Mkhize says he himself advised the Director General to procure the services of an external independent service provider to investigate this. Author of the Daily Maverick article, Pieter-Louis Myburgh, joins us now to discuss this. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So, what is your response to the statement released by the Minister?
You would just have to repeat, apologies, your stereo's voices are in the background. I can't hear your question.
Okay, I do apologize for that. We'll see if our technical team can attend to this. Please let me know if you hear this question now.
I can hear you now.
Okay, brilliant. So I was asking, the Minister has released a statement. Have you seen it? What is your response to it?
Yes, I did follow the department's response and also the Director General's response. He's also been, of course, addressing the issue on various media platforms since the publication of our story. And, you know, I suppose as an early reading of their response, it's positive that they are willing to have the matter investigated. It's positive that they are willing to allow the SIU process, for instance, to unfold and to allow that unit to do its job in a independent manner. But I think there are a couple of red flags, even in the department's response. To be frank, you know, we've been told that the department and the DG especially have appointed a forensic investigator or a forensic investigating firm to probe these allegations. So that would be the internal investigation that stands apart from the SIU probe currently underway. But the department seems quite loath to provide me with any details on who this forensic investigating firm is. I have reached out to the Director General, to both spokespersons, Lwazi Manzi and Popo Maja, and you know, neither of those individuals are willing to provide me with a very simple answer, or answer to a very simple question, and that is, who exactly has now been appointed, supposedly, by the department to probe these allegations?
I want to first establish this from you. The Minister speaks about whistleblowing in the run-up to the investigations, including that by the SIU, which you've just mentioned. How did you come upon the story? Was it through whistleblowing?
Actually, no, this time not. So a lot of our work is kind of forensically centered. So we would take a piece of information. In this case, your viewers might be familiar with the fact that a lot of the COVID-19 expenditure has been published by the National Treasury since at least or late 2020. The NT started publishing these reams and reams of expenditure data for the COVID-19 emergency procurement. So, you know, we've literally been kind of like scouring that data and looking for, you know, kind of contractors that look a little bit strange or some of the larger contracted amounts. So Digital Vibes caught my eye really in kind of a forensic sort of, you know, fishing expedition. We looked at the expenditure, where the money went to, and I saw that Digital Vibes got this 82 million rand contract. I suppose the expenditure amount is the kind of first, not a red flag, but it kind of draws your attention because it stands out against some of the other lesser lucrative contracts. And that led me down the path to examine this company. I'd never heard of them. I am somewhat familiar with the communications and PR space in South Africa, being a journalist myself. I've never heard of them. They don't have any apparent footprint in and that kind of led to further questions.
So let's talk about the people that you believe are central to this, Tahira Mehta and Nadira Mita. Why are they the main alleged protagonists? And are you suggesting that Digital Vibes would not have gotten that contract were they not consultants?
Well, so that question remains to be answered, but I think there's a couple of very curious developments in the whole Digital Vibes saga that we should keep our eye on. So keep in mind that this company kind of doesn't really have a footprint at all. It doesn't seem to get any other work that we know of apart from these government contracts. And these deals just happen to come from departments that Dr. Mkhize leads. So we've got the 2018 4 million rand contract awarded to Digital Vibes from the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, COGTA, when Mkhize led the department. And then skip forward to late 2019, they also happened to get this big contract from the Department of Health that happens to be led by Dr. Mkhize.
Now, the health department has denied conflict of interest, and you have also said that the department's decision to extend Digital Vibe's scope of work to include COVID-19 has also come under fire. But the minister has said that this deviation was supported by the National Treasury in a letter dated 24 June 2020. So why do you believe there are so many probes then?
Yeah, that only addresses one half of the Auditor General's concerns. Remember, the initial appointment in late 2019 was not for COVID-19 related work, it was for the NHI communications services. And that part of the appointment was also flagged as irregular because the Department of Health went ahead with a closed tender process. They should have gone on an open market, open bidding process. And the Auditor General was, I suppose, as baffled as I am as to why the department couldn't have put it out on an open tender process to allow all of South Africa's, role players in that space to bid for this work. So the rollover from the NHI work to the COVID-19 work isn't really the only concern that the Auditor General had. And there are some questions that still need to be answered in terms of why the scope of work was extended and exactly when Treasury gave this permission. Keep in mind, they only got the letter supposedly from the National Treasury in June 2020. And by that time, Digital Vibes is quite happily working on this kind of work for several months already and profiting money from it.
Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but hopefully we'll get to continue the conversation at some point. Daily Maverick investigative journalist Pieter-Louis Myburgh, Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize and his Director General Dr. Sandile Buthelezi were not available this evening.